In an interview at the Tesla factory, when the host asked Elon Musk what the secret was that helped him achieve extraordinary success, he shared many insights. Among them, there was one particularly noteworthy point. He mentioned that when faced with a problem, his way of thinking is completely different from that of others. Typically, people tend to use similar thinking, meaning they propose solutions based on their past experiences or copy solutions from others. In contrast, he employs a completely different mindset, which is first principles thinking. This is a special type of thinking used to solve difficult problems in life. Not only Musk, but also ultra-successful individuals like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and Charlie Munger believe in using this type of thinking to solve their life challenges. So, what makes this type of thinking so special that highly successful people trust and apply it? Can we learn from it and apply it to our own lives? We will explore this in today's video. First, let's delve into the definition. First principles thinking is an analytical thought process based on the root cause and foundation of a problem. From there, it breaks down the issue into smaller, irreducible facts and components. The ultimate goal of this method is to help us identify the root cause of the problem, allowing us to propose effective solutions. Now, let me provide an example to help everyone visualize this concept. Imagine this basket of fruits represents your problem. And this is the typical perspective we have on issues. We only see the surface of the problem. But how would someone who uses first principles thinking, like Musk, view the problem? First, he would break the issue down. For instance, in the basket of fruits, there are 3 types of fruits: apples, oranges, and bananas. Then, he would ask, what creates these 3 types of fruits? Is it the farmer? No, it's the leaves and branches. So, where do the leaves and branches come from? They come from the large trunk. What creates the large trunk? It's the roots deep underground. And these roots develop thanks to the nutrients provided by the soil. Thus, when we look at a problem, we often only see its surface. We don't understand what causes this problem. So we can only rely on our past experiences or the experiences of others to solve it. This is what we do when we go on YouTube to seek help whenever we encounter a problem. This is called similar thinking. The benefit of this type of thinking is that it saves time and effort. However, the effectiveness of this approach is entirely random, and there's no guarantee that it will 100% solve the problem. On the other hand, with first principles thinking, Musk can clearly see the entire picture of the problem, allowing him to build a completely new solution without relying on anyone else's help. The advantages of this method often surpass other approaches because it addresses the root causes of the problem. The downside of this method is that it requires a lot of our time and energy. This is why Musk mentions that we cannot approach everything with this mindset, as it would be exhausting. We should only use it for important, complex issues, those that other methods cannot resolve. Now, let's go through the steps to apply first principles thinking in problem solving. The method is divided into 4 steps. Step 1. Identify the problem. Step 2. Challenge assumptions. Step 3. Break down and delve deeper to identify the root cause of the problem, from which solutions can be proposed. Final step. Go back to step 3 if the solution is ineffective. Now, to explain these steps simply, I will use an example of how Musk applies this method to solve a problem. During his time running Tesla, one of the biggest issues he had to tackle was the high cost of batteries, which led to expensive electric vehicles, making it difficult for them to become mainstream. At that time, Musk sat down with Tesla's engineers and asked them why electric vehicle batteries were so expensive. Everyone replied that the reason batteries are expensive is that they are inherently supposed to be that way. If it were possible to make them cheaper, people would have done so decades ago. Not just now. This kind of reasoning drove Musk crazy. He said that if everyone thought like that, the world would have no inventions or improvements. Then he asked himself, what materials are batteries made from? What are the market prices of these materials? After researching, he discovered that batteries are made from cobalt, nickel, aluminum, carbon, polymer, and steel. He then calculated the value of each material and added them up. The result he found was that each battery only costs about $80 instead of the current $600. From this, he realized that the reason batteries were expensive was not because the raw materials were costly, but because the current battery manufacturing technology was outdated. If they could improve the technology to assemble the materials more intelligently, the cost of batteries would be significantly lower. And technology was Musk's forte. So, he founded a company dedicated to manufacturing batteries for Tesla to realize this idea. In the example above, we see that step 1 is identifying that batteries are too expensive. Step 2 is to reject the assumption that batteries are expensive simply because they've always been expensive. Step 3 is the process where Musk breaks down the battery into its basic components, calculates their values, and identifies that the root cause lies in the inefficient battery manufacturing technology. Step 4. In many cases, when we create a solution, that solution may not be effective. In such situations, we need to return to step 3 to develop a new solution. Now, I will provide a few more examples to help you understand this method better. Imagine you wake up in the morning and feel a bad headache. At that moment, how would you think? You might consider that the reason for your headache is due to lack of sleep, stress in life, or insufficient blood flow to the brain. From there, you might propose a solution such as resting more or taking brain supplements. This is called analogous thinking, which means we think based on repeating our own or others' past experiences. However, a doctor would think completely differently from how we do. If we have a headache and go to the hospital for a checkup, the doctor will ask specific questions to identify the symptoms and the root cause of the illness. After asking questions, if the doctor cannot reach a definitive conclusion, they may request you to have an X-ray or blood test. The entire process has one sole purpose: to identify the root cause of the illness. Once the cause is determined, proposing a solution becomes much simpler. Therefore, it can be said that a doctor's thinking can also be considered a form of first principles thinking. Now, let's consider another example. A student has a low math score. According to conventional thinking, we might advise the student to spend more time studying math. However, a person with first principles thinking would think differently. They would ask themselves, why does this student have a low math score? Is the algebra or geometry section scoring low? At that moment, they might realize that the student's score in algebra is quite good, and only the geometry score is low. At this point, they ask themselves, which types of geometry problems can the student not solve? Are they problems related to plane geometry or spatial geometry? If the student only struggles with spatial geometry, then we can ask further questions to determine whether the root cause is a weak understanding of the theory or poor practice. If the cause is a weak understanding of the spatial geometry theory, then more time can be spent reviewing the theory. On the other hand, if the issue is poor practice, then obviously more time should be dedicated to solving exercises on spatial geometry. As you can see, first principles thinking requires us to delve deep into our thoughts to identify the root cause of the problem and then propose appropriate solutions. Additionally, in my opinion, the two most important factors in this method are challenging assumptions and identifying the root cause of the issue. To effectively accomplish these two tasks, we need to possess two key abilities. The first is strong critical thinking skills. Simply put, if we lack strong critical thinking, we may easily fall into the trap of believing everything we hear. To illustrate this point further, I will share a story. Before 1954, people commonly believed that humans could not run more than 1 mile in 4 minutes. Which means running faster than 1.6 kilometers in 4 minutes. They believed that if someone ran faster than that speed, it could pose health risks or even lead to death. This belief persisted for a long time until one day, an Englishman named Roger Bannister refused to accept it. He trained diligently and eventually broke this speed barrier, setting a world record. And of course, he remained healthy and faced no health issues. Interestingly, just a short time later, many others also broke this speed barrier, even surpassing the world record that he had just set. This serves as a testament to the saying, sometimes what holds us back is not our ability but rather false beliefs. Similarly, in Musk's case, if he had believed like everyone else that battery costs must inherently be high and could not be lowered, then the world would never have seen a Tesla as we know it today. Therefore, we must cultivate strong critical thinking skills to distinguish between false assumptions and the truth. The next factor is knowledge. This is obvious because the essence of what we are doing is creating a new solution for a problem. So we need to have a fundamental understanding of the topic. The current world is very equal in terms of knowledge and information. We can learn anything on our own with just a smartphone. Through today's video, we have gained an overview of first principles thinking. The ultimate goal of this method is to help us identify the root cause of a problem, from which we can create a new solution. We have also explored the steps to apply first principles thinking to problem solving. Next, we focused on the two main aspects of this method: challenging assumptions and identifying root causes. To excel in this, we need good critical thinking skills along with basic knowledge about the issue we are exploring. Essentially, this is also a skill, so we need time to study and practice to master it. There is no skill that you can learn today and excel at by tomorrow. However, when we practice this skill well, it will become a very valuable asset. Additionally, last week I made a video about critical thinking, which you can check out for more insights. Alright, that's the end of the video. See you in the next one. And have a great day.